Hello everyone, I'm Stephanie. I'm one of the CMAs at NCCAA. I'm part of the health staff. Today we're going to be talking about hand washing, communicable diseases, and bodily fluids. So let's get started. When must employees wash their hands? Employees must wash their hands before eating or handling food or medication, before feeding a child, after arriving at the child's care center, after diapering a child, after assisting a child with toileting, after personal toileting, after handling or cleaning bodily fluids such as wiping the nose, mouth, or bottom, and tending to sores, after handling or feeding animals, after outdoor activities, after handling raw food products, after eating, drinking, or smoking, after using any cleaners or toxic chemicals, after removing gloves, and you would also wash your hands before and after performing first aid. When must children wash their hands? Children must wash their hands before eating, before playing in a water play table, after toileting or having a diaper change, after outdoor activities, after playing in sand, after feeding or touching animals, and any other time the caregiver has reason to believe the child has come in contact with substances that could be harmful to the child. The purpose of hand washing is to reduce health risk within the classroom. All staff are required to implement the mandated procedures of hand washing, diapering, and disinfection within the classroom. Our next slide is going to be a short video on how to properly wash your hands.
Hand washing is one of the most important ways you can keep from getting sick and spreading germs to others. Dirty hands spread disease. This hand washing demonstration will show you how hand washing can get rid of germs and chemicals that get on our hands every day. This gel is like the germs and chemicals that we get from things we touch throughout the day, like our toys and pets. If we then rub our eyes, nose, or mouth, or pick up something to eat, the germs or chemicals can get into our bodies and make us sick. Studies have shown that people touch their eyes, nose, and mouth about 25 times every hour without even realizing it. To get rid of these germs and chemicals, CDC recommends you follow these easy steps every time you wash your hands. Wet, lather, scrub, rinse, and dry. We're going to show you the right way to do each step. First, wet your hands with clean running water. Turn off the tap and apply soap. Then, lather your hands by rubbing them together with the soap. Be sure to lather the backs of your hands between your fingers and under your nails. Scrub your hands for at least 20 seconds. If you don't have a clock nearby, keep scrubbing until you've sung the Happy Birthday song twice. Rinse your hands well under clean running water. Dry your hands using a clean towel, electric hand dryer, or air dry them. Washing your hands using the steps we just demonstrated is very important to get hands completely clean. Let's see how well we got rid of the germs and chemicals. Great! No more germs and chemicals. Why is this so important? Germs and chemicals from unwashed hands can get into our foods and drinks when they're being prepared or when we're eating or drinking them, which can make us sick. Also, germs and chemicals from unwashed hands can be transferred to other objects like cell phones, tabletops, or toys, and then transferred to other people's hands. That's why it's so important to wash your hands following these steps. Wet, lather, scrub, rinse, and dry, so you can stay healthy and help keep those around you healthy. For more information, visit cdc.gov/handwashing.
This is just an example of how effective it is to thoroughly wash your hands for 30 seconds with soap and running water. As you can see, when you just rinse your hands with no soap, it doesn't really take anything off. And when you do wash your hands for a few seconds with soap, it still doesn't really take anything off. So scrubbing your hands for 30 seconds with soap and running water is the best way to go. This is an example of hand washing versus hand sanitizing. As you can see, hand sanitizer will kill the germs, but it does not remove any dirt or residue that's left behind on your hands. So thoroughly washing your hands for 20 to 30 seconds with soap and running water will not only remove any germs, but it will also remove any dirt or residue that's left over. Now we're going to be talking about bodily fluids. Bodily fluids are liquids originating from inside the bodies of living humans. They include fluids that are excreted or secreted from the human body. An example of some bodily fluids are blood, urine, vomit, saliva, feces, and any discharge that's coming from the nose or the eyes. Gloves, spills, and disposal. Latex gloves must be worn by staff when they are in contact with spills of blood or any other visible bodily fluids. Spills of bodily fluids must be cleaned and disinfected immediately in keeping with professionally established guidelines. Any tools or equipment used to clean spills of bodily fluids must be cleaned and disinfected immediately. Other blood-contaminated materials must be disposed of in a plastic bag with a secure tie and placed in a biohazard bin. Must caregivers wear gloves when handling blood and bodily fluids? The answer is yes. Caregivers must follow universal precautions outlined by the CDC when handling blood, vomit, or other bodily fluids that may contain blood, including using disposable non-porous gloves, placing gloves contaminated with blood in a tied, sealed, or otherwise closed plastic bag and discarding it immediately, discarding all gloves immediately after one use, and washing your hands after using and disposing of the gloves. Cribs, cots, and toys. Each infant or toddler has a designated crib or cot that is assigned to the child. Crib mattresses are non-absorbent and cots are washable. Cribs, cots, and toys must be disinfected daily. A healthy environment. What steps must you take to ensure a healthy environment for children at your child care center? You must clean, repair, and maintain the building, grounds, and equipment to protect the health of the children. This includes but does not limit to setting aside toys and equipment that are placed in a child's mouth or are otherwise contaminated by body secretions or excrements to be sanitized before handled by another child. Sanitizing sleeping equipment before a different child uses it and when soiled. Sanitizing tabletops, furniture, and other similar equipment used by children when soiled or contaminated with matters such as food, body secretions, or excrements. Staying clean. Soiled linens are to be removed immediately and kept in a closed receptacle to prevent contamination. Linens are to be washed daily. Cots that have been soiled are to be washed immediately. Any bedding that has been soiled will be kept in a closed plastic bag for disposal or for the parents to pick up. Now we are going to be talking about communicable diseases. What is a communicable disease? It is an infectious disease transmissible by direct contact with an affected individual or by the individual's discharge or by indirect means. An example of some common communicable diseases are chickenpox, fifth disease, croup, hands, foot, and mouth, head lice, impetigo, the flu, measles, pink eye, RSV, ringworms, and scabies. On our next slide is going to be a video explaining what communicable diseases are, what they do, and how they spread.
My name is Rhonda, rhinovirus, and if you've ever had a cold, that's me and my sisters. There are so many other names like virus, bacteria, protozoa, fungi. I knew a fungi once. And we're all different, but we all cause some kind of disease. So, you know, people call us germs. I love to travel. I've been everywhere. I've been on the elevator buttons on the Empire State, the door handles at Versailles. Oh, and the hanging gardens of epiglottis. Ooh, that was so fancy. Oh yeah, air travel is great. Catching an airborne droplet on a good cough or a sneeze, and I could really go the distance. I mean, like shooting across the room. I mean, it's so great. I just hate the landing. The best way to get around is still person-to-person contact, and that's the same for every germ nowadays. A handshake, a nose nuzzle, a wet slobbery kiss. You know, if people didn't try to touch their faces, I don't know how I'd get around. Let me tell you something. Hand washing is the most dangerous thing for us germs. You lather up your hands with soap, you rub them together, you keep them under the tap for 20 seconds, you're dead. I don't know anyone who can survive that. But if you have a host who isn't very good at washing and doesn't rinse very long, there are so many places to hide. I probably shouldn't be telling you this. But I can hide in between the fingers, under the fingernails, or on the tops of the hands. Wherever there's kids, there's always great ways to travel. Like the nurseries in church. Oh, so many drips and drops to move around in. And parents, they make it so easy for me. You gotta go to church. All your friends will be there. It's like Grand Central Station, lots of destinations. Oh, once at church, I was catching a ride on this little boy when this big hunk of a man comes up and shakes his little hand right after this little guy had wiped me out of his nose. He was the perfect host. He never washed his hands. I took to him right away. Oh, it was like a fever. Actually, it was a fever. But, you know, after a while, I started thinking things were going wrong. I mean, he started washing his hands and using hand sanitizer. I was beginning to think he was trying to get rid of me. Started out with chicken soup, and then he used the harder stuff like the little white pills and that red stuff in a bottle. Ugh. And then he quit going to work. He just stay home and rest. I mean, it was tragic. I tried to get away, but he just kept sneezing into a tissue. What was I supposed to do? And then one night, I just slipped away. Caught a ride with the chicken soup delivery guy. Oh yeah, there's a dark side to our community. Not everybody's as nice as I am. Take hand, foot, and mouth disease. When he shows up, you're getting sores on your mouth, you're getting a sore throat, and you're getting rashes on your hands and feet. And he's contagious, like forever. Oh, and then there's that hoity-toity Miss Mercer. She may be called methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus, whatever. She's a staph infection. She's always taking advantage of open cuts and scrapes to make her grand entrance. Listen, she's been around so long, she's become hard and difficult. I mean, antibiotics don't even have an effect on her. She's unpleasant, interfering, nasty. She's a... Well, you know what I'm talking about. CMV? You mean cytomegalovirus? Or as I affectionately call him, Mr. Megalomaniac? Yeah, I've seen him around. You don't want to mess with that virus. If a mom is expecting and she gets infected, her baby can have birth defects. I mean, they could be born deaf or blind or have mental handicaps. I'm not one to say too much, but CMV deserves his 20 seconds under the tap. But you know what? He can be shut down just as easily as the rest of us. You know, if people wash their hands, steer clear of bodily fluids, wash and rinse their children's toys, clean their surfaces with a good cleaner, he's shut down. He shrivels up and blows away. Gone with the wind, baby. Wash that germ right out of your hair. You know, a lot of people are making it harder for us to live the dream and go viral. I mean, even nurseries aren't very welcoming anymore. I mean, people, when they get sick, they're staying home. They're keeping their kids home. Sometimes it just gets lonely. But you try to stay positive, have something to look forward to. Like flu season. Or the cold winter boogies. I love those. I love those. My name is Rhonda Rhinovirus. You can call me a germ if you'd like to. I love to travel. I love to get up close and personal with people. I'd love to come and visit. I'm a virus. I'm a microorganism. And I'm a communicable disease.
In the parent handbook, it explains that we perform daily child health checks. Daily health checks is done every morning and must be completed before the parent may leave their child. Staff will be checking for cuts, bumps, bruises, scars, scratches, sores, discharge from the eyes, ears, and nose, coughing, wheezing, fever, or rash. Children may not be able to attend school if they are ill unless approved by a site-based manager or health staff. If the parent states the child has had the following: 2 episodes of diarrhea or vomiting, a temperature of 100.1 under the arm, yellowish eyes and skin, pink eye, eyes that are reddish with a thick discharge, unusual spots of rash, infected skin patches, severe itching of the body or scalp, open sores, rash or blisters, ringworms, a child who appears ill will not be admitted to the center unless approved by a site-based manager or health staff. Returning to school policy. Parents must notify the staff. An example would be teacher, family advocate, and/or the site-based manager when your child is ready to return to school. Staff may require additional information before allowing the child to return to the classroom. When the child has been out because of a communicable disease or an injury, staff may require the child to bring a doctor's release. Parent Health Advisory. A health advisory will be posted in the center within 24 hours of an outbreak of a communicable disease or a serious incident that could be unsafe to the children. The form gives information about the type of disease or incident, the time and date it was noted, and any special instructions. Now let's move on to the agenda. Number 1. Thorough and frequent hand washing can help stop the spread of germs. True. Number 2. Gloves should be worn when handling bodily fluids. True. Number 3. List 5 times you should wash your hands. Before eating, after diapering and toileting, before administering medication, before feeding a child, and after outdoor activities. Thank you so much for your patience and your time. Stay safe and enjoy the rest of your day.